As the dilapidating pyramids and mastabas protrude above the sacred sands of Saqqara, the true power and purpose of this region has puzzled alternative and mainstream researchers. As more relics are revealed, what lies beneath the sands of Saqqara?
What if I told you that buried beneath the Egyptian desert lies a secret no tourist has ever seen? A secret that has nothing to do with aliens and everything to do with human ingenuity lost to time. 24 massive granite boxes, each weighing over 100 tons.
We are at the Serapeum at Saqqara, home to more than 20 of these giant, in some cases 100-ton granite boxes.
And carved with a precision we still cannot replicate, sit hidden in the tunnels of Saqqara. For over a century, archaeologists dismissed them as simple burial objects. But recent artificial intelligence analysis has revealed something far more disturbing: evidence of a civilization capable of industrial-level stonework, encoding knowledge we are only beginning to understand, and deliberately hiding it from the future. This is the story of what happens when a machine confronts the impossible, and the revelations it uncovered challenge everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt. And the question remains, if they could build this, what else were they hiding? Precision that defies time. Let's start with the basics, because even before the AI got involved, the Serapeum was already making experts deeply uncomfortable. This isn't some weathered pyramid or crumbling temple you can explain away with enough manpower and time. This is a site that feels fundamentally wrong for its era. Picture this. You're descending into darkness beneath the Egyptian plateau, the air growing cold and still as you leave the scorching desert behind. The tunnel stretches over 300 feet into the bedrock, carved through solid limestone, with vaulted ceilings that arch overhead like the nave of some underground cathedral. And lining this tunnel, positioned in alcoves cut at perfect right angles, sit the boxes.
Roughly 1 mile northwest of Djoser's pyramid, a network of subterranean chambers known as the Serapeum defies all understanding.
24 of them, each one carved from a single block of rose granite or black diorite, materials so hard they rank between 6 and 7 on the Mohs hardness scale, just below quartz. Try scratching granite with a copper chisel sometime. You'll understand why this matters. The dimensions alone are staggering. Each box measures approximately 13 feet long, 7.5 feet wide, and 11 feet tall. The walls are nearly 2 feet thick of solid stone. The lids weigh 30 tons each and were cut from the same quarries as the boxes themselves. According to mainstream archaeology, workers transported these 100-ton granite blocks from Aswan, a quarry located over 500 miles to the south, then somehow maneuvered them through tunnels barely wider than the boxes themselves, lowered them into recessed alcoves cut into the bedrock floor, and positioned them with geometric perfection. All of this using copper tools, wooden sledges, and human muscle. Does that sound possible? Because that's exactly what the textbooks have been telling us for generations. But the weight and transport logistics are only the beginning. What really makes engineers lose sleep is the precision. In 1995, Christopher Dunn, a manufacturing engineer with over 50 years of experience in aerospace, precision machining, brought professional metrology equipment into the Serapeum. He used a 6-inch precision straight edge accurate to 2/10,000ths of an inch, the same tools used to calibrate jet engine components, and began measuring the interior surfaces of the boxes. What he found defied everything he thought he knew about ancient capabilities. The interior surfaces were flat to within 2/10,000ths of an inch across spans of nearly 10 feet. The corners were sharp and square, with radii so tight that a pencil would fit snugly inside them. When Dunn placed his precision straight edge against the polished granite walls and shined a flashlight behind it, no light passed through. The surfaces were so perfectly flat that they created an optical seal against a tool designed to detect microscopic deviations. Let that sink in for a moment. We're talking about tolerances measured in 10,000ths of an inch, the kind of precision required for modern CNC machining, achieved in granite over 3,000 years ago using tools that supposedly didn't exist. The boxes aren't just flat, they're parallel. The opposite walls maintain consistent spacing across their entire length. The top surfaces are perpendicular to the sides within measurement error. Every box displays the same obsessive attention to geometric perfection. Dunn later asked a modern precision manufacturing firm if they could replicate one of these boxes from a single block of granite. Their answer was sobering. Even with unlimited budget and access to diamond-tipped cutting tools, computer-controlled machinery, and modern engineering expertise, they said they would need to construct the box from 6 separate pieces rather than carving it from one solid block. 6 pieces in this modern era of industrial technology, but we're expected to believe that dynastic Egyptians achieved it with copper chisels and stone hammers, working underground in cramped tunnels lit only by flickering oil lamps. The math doesn't add up. Something is missing from this story. Reverse engineering the past. Instead of arguing about what ancient people could or couldn't do, researchers decided to let the evidence speak for itself through technology that has no bias, no ego, and no academic reputation to protect. The Saqqara Precision Project assembled teams from universities across Egypt, Germany, and the United States. For 3 years, they systematically collected every piece of measurable data about the Serapeum boxes they could gather. They deployed high-resolution laser scanners that mapped all 24 boxes down to the micron level. They used photogrammetry to create millimeter-accurate 3-dimensional models. They analyzed surface textures under electron microscopes looking for tool marks. They measured acoustic resonance properties by generating controlled frequencies inside the boxes and recording how the granite responded. When they finished, they had accumulated over 8 terabytes of raw dimensional and material data, a digital fingerprint of everything these boxes had to reveal. Then came the crucial decision. They fed all of this data into advanced machine learning algorithms with one simple instruction: reverse engineer these objects. No human theories, no archaeological assumptions, no cultural biases. Just analyze the dimensions, tolerances, surface characteristics, material composition, and geometric relationships. Then reconstruct the most logical explanation for how these boxes were designed and manufactured. The goal was to discover if there was a hidden system, a production methodology, or an engineering workflow that human researchers had missed. And that's exactly what happened. Except what the AI found wasn't just unexpected. It was paradigm-shattering. When the artificial intelligence began processing the data, something remarkable emerged. For the first time, the Serapeum boxes revealed their manufacturing secrets through cold mathematical analysis rather than archaeological speculation. The AI compared surface textures across all 24 boxes, matched tool mark patterns, analyzed geometric deviations, and reconstructed the most probable sequence of operations required to create them. What emerged on screen wasn't the work of primitive craftsmen slowly grinding stone over decades. According to the model, the Serapeum boxes were manufactured using a systematic process that resembles modern industrial production. The AI identified consistent tool mark signatures across multiple boxes, patterns that would only appear if the same cutting implements were used repeatedly with mechanical precision. The spacing and depth of these marks suggested rotational cutting motion, not the random scratching you'd expect from hand tools. But the visual reconstruction was just the beginning. What shocked researchers wasn't how the boxes looked, it was how they were made. The AI discovered that the Serapeum boxes weren't carved randomly through trial and error craftsmanship. They were manufactured using what appears to be a standardized template system. The analysis found that the interior dimensions of all 24 boxes conformed to a consistent mathematical ratio within thousandths of an inch. The depth-to-width proportions, the wall thickness relationships, the corner radii specifications. All of them repeat across the entire collection, with variations too small to be coincidental. That level of standardization implies something astonishing. A master specification that was followed precisely, box after box, as if the builders were working from engineering drawings that have never been found. The AI then identified what it classified as machining signatures, surface characteristics that in modern manufacturing would indicate specific types of cutting operations. The interior corners showed evidence of what engineers call relieved cutting, a technique where material is removed in controlled passes rather than carved all at once. The flat surfaces displayed parallel striations consistent with systematic material removal rather than random grinding. Most significantly, the AI detected acoustic resonance properties that suggested the boxes were tuned to specific frequencies, as if their dimensions were calculated not just for visual geometry, but for vibrational characteristics. In other words, whoever built these boxes wasn't just carving stone. They were engineering precision instruments with properties we're only beginning to understand. The hidden purpose. Then the AI cross-referenced the geometric data against mathematical constants, and things got seriously unsettling. The mainstream explanation for the Serapeum has always been straightforward. These were burial containers for sacred Apis bulls, ceremonial animals that were mummified and entombed as religious offerings. Simple enough, except nothing about these boxes makes sense for that purpose. The bulls were approximately 7 feet long. The boxes have interior chambers over 10 feet in length. Why the extra space? The bulls weighed perhaps 2,000 pounds. The boxes weigh 100 tons with 30-ton lids that required explosives to open when the site was rediscovered in 1851. Why such overkill for animal remains? And here's the detail that should make you pause. When Auguste Mariette finally blasted his way into the Serapeum after years of excavation, almost every single box was empty. No bulls, no mummies, no grave goods, just sealed granite containers holding nothing but darkness and questions. The AI analysis proposed something that made researchers deeply uncomfortable. Using the dimensional data and mathematical relationships embedded in the boxes, the software detected repeating ratios that correspond to known astronomical constants. The proportions encode relationships connected to lunar cycles, solar year calculations, and what appears to be precession of the equinoxes, the slow wobble of Earth's axis that takes approximately 26,000 years to complete one cycle. The AI suggested these boxes weren't designed as coffins at all. They may have been designed as calibration instruments, precision containers whose exact dimensions served some technological or astronomical function we no longer understand. Think about what that implies. The tolerances required to embed astronomical calculations into stone dimensions would demand measuring capabilities far beyond what dynastic Egypt supposedly possessed. You can't encode the lunar cycle into a granite box if you can't measure that box to within thousandths of an inch. You can't reference precession if you don't know precession exists. Yet here are 24 identical containers manufactured with industrial precision, positioned underground in what appears to be a calculated arrangement, encoding mathematical relationships that point toward sophisticated astronomical knowledge. The boxes weren't built to hold dead bulls. They were built to hold information. And here's where the revelation turns dark. The AI detected something else in the dimensional analysis, patterns that don't correspond to any known astronomical cycles, but do correspond to something more ominous. Certain ratios in the box proportions match calculations related to impact periodicity, the mathematical intervals at which Earth passes through debris fields from long-period comets. The AI flagged these as potential warning encodings, information about cosmic threats embedded in stone that would survive any disaster. If this interpretation is correct, the Serapeum wasn't just a temple or a tomb. It was a time capsule, a message in granite designed to survive millennia and warn future civilizations about dangers written in the stars. The builders knew something was coming. They sealed their knowledge underground, and then they disappeared. The global precision puzzle. Here's where things get even more unsettling. The Serapeum isn't alone. When you zoom out and look at the global picture, this site suddenly feels like one piece of a much larger and stranger puzzle. All over the world, scattered across thousands of miles and thousands of years, we find ancient sites that share the same head-scratching characteristics. Massive stone objects manufactured with precision that shouldn't have been achievable. Underground chambers carved with geometric perfection. Astronomical alignments suggesting the builders weren't just stacking rocks, but encoding knowledge into architecture. Let me take you on a quick tour of these impossible siblings, because once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Start with the granite coffer inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. This single box, positioned in the so-called King's Chamber, displays the same impossible precision as the Serapeum containers. Christopher Dunn measured it with the same equipment and found identical characteristics: flat surfaces within 10,000ths of an inch, sharp internal corners, and acoustic resonance properties that cause the entire chamber to vibrate at specific frequencies. The coffer's dimensions encode pi and the golden ratio to multiple decimal places. It sits at the exact geometric center of the pyramid's mass. And just like the Serapeum boxes, mainstream archaeology insists it was carved with copper tools and used as a simple coffin, despite the fact that no mummy was ever found inside it. Now travel across the world to Pumapunku in Bolivia.
Bolivia, South America. Here, 45 miles west of La Paz, isolated high in the Andes Mountains, lie the mysterious ancient ruins of Pumapunku.
High in the Andes at nearly 13,000 feet above sea level. There you'll find H-shaped blocks carved from andesite, another extremely hard volcanic stone with the same machine-like precision visible in the Serapeum. The blocks interlock with tolerances measured in thousandths of an inch. They display identical geometric patterns repeated across dozens of components, as if manufactured from a master template. AI analysis of Pumapunku has revealed the same disturbing conclusion. These weren't crafted through patient grinding over generations. They were produced using systematic methods that imply planning, measurement, and quality control beyond what primitive tools could achieve. Then there's Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, which rewrites the entire foundation of human civilization. Radiocarbon dated to nearly 12,000 years ago. This site predates the Serapeum by 8 millennia, predates the pyramids by 7,000 years, predates writing, agriculture, pottery, and the wheel. Yet what do we find there? Precisely carved T-shaped limestone pillars, some weighing 20 tons, arranged in circular enclosures with astronomical alignments built into their orientation. According to everything we thought we knew, the people of that era were supposed to be simple hunter-gatherers. Instead, they were quarrying massive stones, carving them with geometric precision, and encoding celestial knowledge into architecture. When you line up all these sites, the Serapeum, the Great Pyramid Coffer, Pumapunku, Göbekli Tepe, Baalbek in Lebanon with its 1,000-ton foundation stones, a deeply unsettling pattern emerges. Different continents, different cultures, different time periods, yet the same impossible precision, the same obsession with astronomical encoding, the same mysterious disappearance of the knowledge required to create them. Did all these civilizations independently stumble onto the same advanced techniques? Or are we looking at fragments of something much larger, a global legacy of lost technology scattered like breadcrumbs across time? The Serapeum becomes truly chilling when viewed through this lens. Thanks to the AI reconstruction, we can now see it wasn't just a burial site. It was a node in a worldwide network of precision engineering that operated on principles we've only begun to rediscover: the vanished masters. So let's confront the question everyone's thinking. If the AI reconstruction is even partially correct, then the Serapeum is no longer just an interesting archaeological curiosity tucked away beneath the Egyptian desert. It becomes something else entirely. Not simply the remains of an ancient religious practice, but the fossilized imprint of a forgotten industrial capability. Think carefully about what that means. Those precision boxes might not just be elaborate coffins. They could be the last surviving products of knowledge that rivaled or even surpassed our own technological understanding. And that's the part that truly rattles people, because this isn't just about impressive craftsmanship. The more we examine the Serapeum through the lens of AI analysis, the more it feels like we're staring into a mirror, one that reflects not only what ancient people achieved, but also what they feared. Here's the chilling question that haunts this entire story. If they were that advanced, if they could manufacture precision stone containers with tolerances that challenge modern machinery, encode astronomical cycles into geometric dimensions, and create objects designed to survive millennia, then where did they go? How does a civilization go from producing some of the most precise engineering on Earth to vanishing without leaving behind a single instruction manual, a single workshop, a single apprentice to carry the torch forward? The standard explanation is that the Serapeum was built by dynastic Egyptians during the New Kingdom period, around 1300 BCE. But the more evidence accumulates, the less that story holds water. The AI analysis strongly suggests the precision techniques visible in the boxes don't match anything else from that era. The crude hieroglyphics scratched onto some of the boxes look like graffiti added centuries later by people who clearly didn't possess the same manufacturing capability. It's as if the dynastic Egyptians inherited these boxes, didn't understand how they were made, and simply incorporated them into their religious practices. So, if not the dynastic Egyptians, then who built the Serapeum boxes? And more importantly, what catastrophic event could erase such brilliance so completely? One possibility is that the knowledge was lost through the same mechanism that destroys most advanced understanding: centralization. Imagine a society where all precision manufacturing capability is concentrated in the hands of a small technical elite. The engineers and craftsmen form a protected class, the keepers of sacred methods passed down through generations. That structure makes sense if you're trying to maintain quality control or preserve trade secrets. But it's also incredibly dangerous. If that elite vanishes through war, plague, political upheaval, or natural disaster, the knowledge goes with them instantly. The Serapeum boxes would remain, but the ability to create more would be gone. History is filled with these moments of lost knowledge. Think of Roman concrete, a material so durable that ancient structures still stand while modern buildings crumble after decades. The formula was lost when the Roman Empire collapsed and wasn't rediscovered until the 20th century. Think of the Antikythera mechanism, an ancient Greek astronomical computer so sophisticated.
When we first looked at the results, it was astonishing. We've had to rethink the history of technology completely as a result of this single object. It's such a clever, extraordinary, sophisticated machine
that nothing comparable appeared in Europe for another 1500 years. Think of Greek fire, the Byzantine weapon whose composition remains unknown despite centuries of attempts to reverse engineer it. Entire libraries of accumulated wisdom have vanished in single fires or single generations. If the Serapeum builders centralized their precision methods in the same way, it perfectly explains why no successor culture could replicate their work. They were like someone stumbling upon a crashed computer without knowing how electronics function. They could use the site for their own purposes. They could appreciate its grandeur, but they couldn't build another one. This leads to a bigger, more frightening possibility that challenges everything we think we know about progress. What if human advancement isn't a straight line? We like to imagine history as a neat ladder. Primitive at the bottom, sophisticated at the top, always climbing upward. But what if history is actually cyclical? What if it's more like a saw blade, with sharp rises followed by catastrophic falls, forgotten peaks of brilliance buried under millennia of decline and amnesia? The Serapeum may be evidence that we've hit these heights before and lost them. Whatever destroyed the precision culture that created these boxes, whether it was cosmic impact, climate collapse, societal breakdown, or something else entirely, it erased everything except the stone products themselves. And here's the paradox that should keep us all awake at night. The AI reconstruction solves one profound mystery. Yes, the boxes were manufactured with systematic precision. Yes, they encode mathematical constants. Yes, they display evidence of industrial-level production. But in solving that mystery, it cracks open an even deeper one. How can such capability vanish so completely? A civilization able to create objects that still baffle our best engineers should have left behind more than 24 boxes in an underground tunnel. That silence is deafening. For over 3,000 years, the boxes of the Serapeum have waited in darkness, holding secrets encoded with precision that challenges everything we thought we knew about human capability. They are more than stone. They are warnings, messages, and questions from a civilization that may have seen what we cannot yet fully grasp. And now, after centuries of silence, we are finally listening. But the story is far from over. What cosmic cycles were they tracking? And are we on the path they once foresaw? How much of their knowledge have we forgotten? And how close are we to repeating their fate? The answers are still buried, waiting for those who dare to look.